back again. It is another edition of Taking the Mikel. We are prolific at this moment in time. That's what happens when all of this kind of publicity goes to one's head. And that's what's happened, John. There's so much going on. If it's not Nicholas Jackson, it's not Victor Osimhen, it's something else. How are you, pal? You well?
I'm very well, and you?
Very well indeed, pal. I'm very well. I'm looking forward to the return of the tribalism of club football. I'm not having this international break. I mean, do you enjoy it?
I feel like you missed the game, doesn't it? You know, we feel like there's so much not happening because you're so used to having games, week in, week out. So, of course, when there's no Premier League, when there's no games, you feel kind of a bit lost, you know what I mean? Yeah, but I can't wait for, the Premier League, the leagues to be back. But of course, there was international games. There's still a lot to talk about. And
you Nigerians are smiling a little bit, John, because let's be honest about it. It's been a bit rough for you in the last few months. Your World Cup qualifying campaign has not been good.
No, it hasn't gone well so far,
3 draws and a defeat in your 4 games. So it's looking a bit of a struggle. I'm still expecting you to get there. But African Cup of Nations qualifying kicked off. 3-0 win against Benin, followed by a 0-0 draw with Rwanda. 4 points from 6. Not bad.
Not bad. Listen, I think, there's no denying it that obviously we did so well in the last African Cup of Nations. And, we want to qualify again. And I thought the team played really well in the first game, won the game comfortably well, 3-0. The players showed great attitude, great motivation, and finding a way to beat a very stubborn Benin team. And that's what we have to do. When you play at home, you expect that to beat the likes of Benin. No disrespect to them, but, we have the better players. We have better teams. So for us, we knew it was going to be a comfortable win, which is what we got. But again, I'd like to commend the players for putting in such a professional display, hard work. There's so much going on that when you come into the national team I don't want to say every time you come in, there's a new manager. Obviously now we don't have a manager, we don't have a coach. It is difficult, to come in every time knowing that you don't have a manager, you don't have a coach. How do you deal with that? You don't know who's going to be in charge. So for these players, it is difficult, you know what I mean?
Of course it is.
It is, exactly.
Look, you don't know what the system is, what they're looking to do, what the philosophy is going to be. Ultimately, in international football, and I'm no expert, but it's about winning football matches.
It's about winning football matches, and that's what we've done, and that's what I've said. It was a professional performance because not knowing who was in charge. Of course, I know, the interim manager now, Guvoua, who was the manager who managed me when I was a kid.
Did he?
Under 17, he was my coach, took us to the World Cup. Fantastic guy, lovely guy, a manager who gives you all the freedom in the world to express yourself, speaks to you really well. He reminds me so much of Carlo Ancelotti. No jokes about it. He reminds me of Carlo Ancelotti. His man management is top. He speaks to players really well. He's so humble. He communicates with players really well. He puts his arm around you. He gets the players on his side, and that's so important. And you can see coming in such a short notice and getting the team to play so well, you can't change so much. You can't teach them so much in short space of time. It's about the communication. It's about the man management of making the players so relaxed so that they can perform. And that's what I saw when I watched the game, because the team performed really well the first game and also the second game. Of course, we didn't win it, but there was so much positive. The team played really well yesterday, and I thought we could have won the game, but the pitch wasn't good. I think the pitch was terrible.
Was it?
The pitch was terrible, and obviously these players are used to playing in such fantastic pitches. So for us, it was a good week of international, a win and a draw, 4 points. Not bad,
So is he the man for the long term then? You've just talked him up. You've compared him to Carlo Ancelotti, John.
Not in terms of achievement.
Which is high praise.
But in terms of man management and letting players, giving the players the freedom. Because we have so much talent, so much players with so much quality. It's about letting them express themselves. The players like Ademola Lookman, who for me I think is having a great season. Victor Osimhen, Victor Boniface, Simon Moses, who I know really well, Alex Iwobi, Ndidi, Kelechi Iheanacho, all these players we have, these are players who like to express themselves. So we need a manager who can tell them to go out there, express yourself, but again, do the dirty work for the team. And that's something that Osimhen Guvoua will demand from this team. So I hope that he does well and gets it permanent. There's no
if he
bad,
does well, yeah.
exactly,
if he does well, give him the job.
Exactly. There's no bad appointing, a home-based coach. But obviously, we did that with Finidi. It didn't work out well. The last manager, but listen, if whatever the FA decides, but I think Osimhen Guvoua deserves a shot for this job, because I think he's a great guy, he's a great manager, he's a great man management kind of coach. So, if he gets it, fair play.
Yeah, because of course it should have been Bruno Labbadia, the German. All bizarre. We posted up on our social media accounts congratulating
and then he quit
him on getting the job, and then 4 days later I'm messaging you saying, John, has Bruno lost his job? And you're like, yep, he's gone. He's gone already. And I thought to myself, managing the Nigerian national team.
I remember when you sent me that message. What did I say? I was like, let's see.
To be fair, and I will say this, I messaged you to say Bruno Labbadia, and you went, let's just wait and see on that one. So you knew, John.
I knew something wasn't right. And it didn't take, 2-3 days of him quitting the job.
And then there was the speculation that there was corruption allegations. They've been put to bed now.
Yeah.
It spread like wildfire, fake news on social media. It has been confirmed. Tax issues.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, obviously that was the story. I think when the story came out of the fake story, is it fake story? I don't know, the fake story of the corruption of him wanting 10% from the hierarchies, in the FA. His salary goes to them. And that's something that I straight away when he came out, I was like, oh, whoa, hold on a minute here. What's happened here? And then straight away I sent a message to the secretary of the Nigerian Football Federation. And he was like,
to say, you're not on the take here, are you?
I was like, what's going on here? And then he got back to me straight away. Was like, no, that's not the story. That's not true.
It's fake news.
Yeah, it's fake news. This is what happened, that, he wanted his taxes to be paid in Germany and also in Nigeria, which is something that the Nigerian FA said, no, we can't do that. And obviously that's what happened. And then he thought, no, that that's not his job. And he decided to quit. So for me, straight away, I sent him a message like, Dio, please tell me what's happened here. He's like, no, I promise you it's not that. This is exactly what happened. And no, it was good that he got back to me straight away to clear the air that this is what happened, because, that would have been really, really bad for us,
serious allegations.
Exactly. Would have been serious allegations if that would have been true. But thank God it wasn't true. So, but we definitely do need a manager. We need we need a permanent manager, somebody who's gonna come in and know that this is my job. I have a job to do. I need to qualify the country to the Nations Cup. And most importantly, to the World Cup, because we were not on the last World Cup. We need to qualify to the World Cup.
What's bigger, John? And I know this is a bit of an unfair question. In Nigeria and your fellow kind of compatriots, reaching an African Cup of Nations and going far as they did last time out, of course, reaching the final, or reaching a World Cup finals?
Oof. Okay, I think reaching the World Cup final is a bit stretchy. I hope we get there.
No, but I'm saying getting to the finals. Yeah,
I just, if you're asking me to get to the African Cup of Nations finals or qualify to the World Cup, man, it's a tough one. I'll definitely tell you that I would like to see us in the World Cup.
Yeah,
I'll choose the World Cup over that. I'll choose the World Cup over seeing us qualify, get to the African Cup of Nations final. Now, if you're saying winning the African Cup of Nations final, that's another conversation. But getting to the final and not winning, I will definitely choose qualifying to the World Cup, because we were not at the last World Cup in Qatar. And for a massive country with so much talent, we deserve to be in the World Cup. And so much talent we have in the team, fantastic players. They need to showcase their talent in the biggest on the biggest stages, and the biggest stage is the World Cup. And that's where I want to see this team. I want to see these players get to the World Cup and perform in the biggest stages. So for me, definitely, the World Cup.
So interesting. If you look at that managerial, we can call it a merry-go-round because Bruno was on for 4 days and then he was thrown off. So it is a merry-go-round. Are we looking at perhaps giving it to Augustin, or are we looking at perhaps an outsider? I know Gus Poyet, another Chelsea legend, has been linked with a job.
Yeah.
Is he someone, I mean, what was he? I'm going back now. Leeds, a stint at Brighton, didn't he? He was down in Greece. He's travelled, has Gus.
He was at China
to
as
be
well,
fair.
I think,
He was in
at some point.
China, you're right. He has done the rounds, has Goose.
He has, yeah.
Goose Gus. What do we think?
I think, it's someone who's been around. You know, he's managed different clubs in different countries. He's somebody that I think understands different culture. It's very important when you have a manager who's worked in different cultures. And of course, Nigeria, to work in Nigeria is
tough.
It's a tough one. But no, I definitely spoke to Gus. You know, he called me. I think he's been shortlisted,
For the job.
For the job. There's no doubt about that. And, I spoke to him. He's like, listen, what is it like managing Nigeria national team? And I gave him my honest opinion. Managing Nigerian national team is tough. You need to be very, very patient because things are not going to go as quickly as you want it. You need to be patient. But things get done, but you need to be patient. But most importantly, you're getting a very, very good team.
Yeah.
This is a very, very good team. It doesn't matter what happens in the hierarchy, the politics of the game. Whatever happens, you concentrate on the team. The team is the most important part of everything. And you will get a very, very good team, a young team, a team that is hungry to succeed. And that's what you're going to get. And he understood that. And he was like, okay, thank you so much for your insight. And every other thing that's going to happen, he understood that he has to be patient. He has to be patient. And of course, Nigeria, to work with the Nigerian FA is tough. Sometimes, you don't get your salary as quickly as possible, as you should, but you eventually get it.
It might not come at the end of the month.
It might not come at the end of the month. You might have to take them to court sometimes to be able to get it. But you will eventually get it.
It will come.
But no, he definitely understood that he will get a very, very good team. And I had to make that clear with him. He will get a very, very good team. But with the hierarchies, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. You have to understand the system. It is a system. And you can't change it. You can't come in and be like, oh, I'm coming from here, blah, blah, blah. I want to change how things are run. No. You have to wait. You have to be patient. You have to follow the system. It is a system that you can't change. But it's fantastic. And I hope he gets it.
Interesting. You talk about the players that Nigeria have at their disposal. And obviously I keep an interest. You know me, John. I love my football across all four corners of the globe. I look at the Nigerian national team and it's very top heavy. Iheanacho, Osimhen, Boniface.
Good team.
Chukwueze. You've got Lookman. I'm looking at the top end of the pitch and I'm thinking, wow, there's a lot of good players that just have to be left on the bench for the balance of the team. And that, then go through the team, Calvin Bassey, who started the season so well with Fulham. Big fan of Calvin. He was up in Scotland with the Rangers for a short period of time. Ndidi, Iwobi.
Yeah.
There's pieces there of a very good team. It's just at the top end of the pitch, there's a lot of boys on the bench thinking, whew, this is tough to break into this team.
No, exactly. They've got a very, very good team. I think in comparison as well, I think when you compare my time when we won the African Cup of Nations and this team as well, I think this is a team that has more players playing in Europe than we did. Not just playing in Europe, more better teams in Europe than we did.
Who was your striker? Back when
we had Emmanuel Aminike. He was playing, I think back
Greece,
then, was
Turkey.
he playing in Turkey, Fenerbahce?
Fenerbahce.
We had Son Demba, who played, I think he was playing back then in the local leagues. And we had few players who were playing, but not.
So you
not
think now
great.
Osimhen and Boniface, that is two of the, arguably the top 20 strikers of world football.
Exactly. You have that. You have Ademola Lookman. I think he's having a fantastic season.
He's quality.
Yeah, just been nominated for the Ballon d'Or, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he will win the African Player of the Year.
You and I were talking about this, and maybe some people, I'm sure, will comment on our YouTube video on this, or perhaps on our social medias. Victor Osimhen was African Player of the Year last year, of course, off the back of leading Napoli to a first Scudetto in God knows how many years. You look at African players this season, and Adamon Lookman winning and being the match winner in that Europa League final to end Bayer Leverkusen's fairy tale run. And I know it's based on more than just one game, John, but
he's been doing it the whole season.
He's been doing it
the whole season. I mean, he's having a great season. And every time I watch him play, he looks like a top player, a player who has a lot to prove. And he's been doing that and having a great season with Atalanta, winning the Europa League, and again, coming back to the national team this week and performing the way he did. I mean, the way he scored the goal he scored was absolutely fantastic. I think he scored 2, didn't he? Exactly. Fantastic guy, fantastic player. And obviously, Victor Osimhen winning the African Player of the Year last year. It will be absolutely fucking amazing to see
2 Nigerians.
Another Nigerians win it back-to-back. If Ademola Lookman will be able to win it, that will be absolutely fantastic. So, fingers crossed, he will win that. And again, he's been nominated for the Ballon d'Or. So let's see how that goes. You know what I mean?
You've got me thinking here, John. Last week, it was you were going to get your FIFA accreditation to be a FIFA agent. I know that Carlo Ancelotti's words are still ringing you in your ears. Carlo wants you to do your badges.
Yeah, he wants me to do my coaching badges.
He does. Does the Nigeria national team top job not interest you? That face suggests not.
I think that's a long way. That's a long shot, that. No. Listen,
Politically,
no. Politically, no. Listen, whichever way I can, again,
give
back and help, the national team. Of course, I'll be there, I'll be there to help. The players that we have right now, like I said, we have a great team. We need a manager who's going to come in and make sure that he gets the team to continue to perform the way they are and get us over the finish line. Again, we didn't win the African Cup of Nations, but we're so close. We had a fantastic tournament in the last African Cup of Nations. So if we can qualify again and qualify for the World Cup, it will be a massive achievement. So if Austin Guvoua is going to get the job, I wish him well. I hope he gets it. If there's somebody else who's going to come in, a foreign coach who's going to come in, if that's what their fate decides, then yes, of course, let's do it. But I just want to let any manager know that whoever is coming in has got a fantastic young team. You know what I mean? And these players are playing well. They're playing their peak of their powers, in their various teams. So you're getting a good team. So let's continue to support the team. And of course, the main man, came in 6 minutes, coming into the football pitch and scored a goal. You know what I mean? And that's why he's the main man, Victor Osimhen. That's why he's the main man in that team, because he can do that. He can score goals. And and if he can continue to do that for the national team and continue to do that for Galatasaray, there's nothing that can stop him.
I'm starting to think, John, does Victor Osimhen bet winner? He gets mentioned on this podcast every week these days. He's got something on you. The two of you are going to make millions. And I just want to taste of it.
Listen, I keep talking about it, that he will score goals.
He will, of course.
I just keep saying that. That's something I know he can do really, really well. He can score goals. And he just showed it. He came in 6 minutes after coming in. And even the way he scored the goal, you can tell that's a striker full of confidence. The ball coming towards him, bouncy ball coming towards him as well. Timing it so perfectly well and just putting his foot, lacing his boots around it and just smacking it. Full of confidence, knowing exactly what he had to. He didn't need to think about it twice. He knew exactly what to do.
Instinctual.
Instinct, exactly. Just smashing it in. And he knows he's putting it in the top corner. And that's just a top striker. And that's what I hope we got, at the club, at Chelsea. But, yeah, you never know. And, fingers crossed.
Right, John. Top man, as always. Taking the Mikel with a difference. Focusing in on the Nigerian national team. Of course, you're a Nigeria legend as well. That will keep some of our listeners happy. And we're back with Taking the Mikel next week. Why don't you mark your card? Gary Cahill is the Obi-Wan podcast made possible by Bet Winner. That's our next big interview out on Monday.
Yeah.
Gaza was superb. It's well worth watching that one and listening to that one as well.
Yeah.
He's a good guy,
He's a good guy, yeah.
Looking
guy.
forward to that.
As well, yeah.
And it is another Taking the Mikel. Next week, we'll be back to talk about some of the big talking points. Of course, opportunity to ask this man questions as well. You got a question for John, drop it in our YouTube comment section. Drop it on social media as well. We will do a Q&A with this man, I promise you, in the coming weeks as well. Another edition of Taking the Mikel with John Obi Mikel, myself, Chris McCarty. Ta-ra for now.